Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I am Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
Pretty good, considering we took an L tonight. But hey, that's the way it goes.
Girls took an L tonight. Whose socks did you wear tonight?
These are the 1995 NBA All-Star Game socks.
So you got 1995 NBA All-Star Game socks. My question for you is, with all of the different NBA players and different types of NBA socks that you have, you've got the slacks on. Beautiful pleat, by the way, in the slack. Do you do your own ironing, or do you get them?
These pants are about 3 days old.
So you still got a nice pleat in it.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'll tell you, I do hang them though, like they hang them in the stores though, so that like
try to keep the
crease is still in the front.
Right. So the crease is and sure. So my question for you is, like, I wear slacks every day for work. I call them slacks. That's probably super old. I don't know what else you call them. Dress pants maybe is the way to go.
Sure.
I think they feel like I'm wearing a pair of pajama pants, personally.
Like they're comfortable?
Yeah, love them.
Nice.
Love them. So I love my when I wear them every single day. But even if you put them up right, eventually you're going to either have to get them pressed or you're going to have to get an iron on them.
Yep.
Yeah. So are you an iron guy, or do you just let it go, and when the pleat's gone, the pleat's gone? Because it's not always easy. Sometimes the worst pleat I ever got was when I took my pants to a dry cleaner. I ended up with a double pleat. They did terrible. It was like totally. I had 2 creases.
Those places have like high school kids working there.
Yeah, I'm not
some of them.
Yeah. That's why I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I only do iron if they're really wrinkly.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, good for you.
I mean, if I'm going to like a wedding or something, I'll maybe throw one on there, but wearing these to work.
So I've got a question about the socks.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I'm going to ask the question about the socks while we get into Reese's. We are on week number 4,267 of Reese's. And if you have never heard the podcast before, this is a sports podcast. We will talk about some sports today. We've got Major League Baseball with winter meetings starting, which means trades are coming out and free agent signings are happening like crazy. Big free agent signings are happening fast right now. There's not, like, the big guys are gone. Like, there's been a couple years where there's been some big guys and it's like, are they going to get signed? No, this year it's happening.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We've got our NFL picks that we do every week. But to start off, we like to try a different Reese's branded candy.
That's right. And Chris, this week, it is the Reese's Holiday Mystery Shapes.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know they did a mystery shape.
Neither did I until I went bonanza at Kroger the other week.
And you said you had enough to get us through the end of the year. So
we're polishing off the rest of this bag. So just take a handful here.
All right. Sounds good. That's easy enough. So these are the Reese's mystery shape Christmas season. Are you allowed to say Christmas season, holiday season?
On this podcast, you are.
On this podcast, we're allowed to? All right. The Christmas season. I got a... Is that a snowman?
Here's my favorite thing. I think that's a Christmas tree, but here's my favorite thing.
That's a Christmas tree? They can do way better on their Christmas trees.
So far.
You got a bunch of blobs like this? What do you got?
I got like part of a bone or something.
Turn it sideways. Turn it up. Yep. Yeah. That's a stocking. You got Christmas stocking.
I mean, it's kind
Holy
of a
cow,
stocking.
these are so bad.
This is a stocking for a cankle.
Show that thing up to the TV for all the YouTube viewers out there. Wow, that looks more like something else. Just looking at the screen.
Anyway, these mystery shapes, I ate part of the bag before. Brought them over here.
That's all right.
But these things do not look like real shapes.
No,
they're bad. I was showing them to somebody, and somebody said, It looks like they open one, they're like, this is a guy's torso. Like, I mean,
I like that.
they are
I
a real
mean,
mystery. They
That-
really are a
There is
mystery.
no doubt. Reese's doesn't even know what these are.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to rate this. So this is basically, I'm sorry, I apologize. Adam, first impressions.
No, you go.
No. We've got to keep this. Listen, this is a highly produced boot. It's a highly produced podcast here. We got to stay on it. So far, the random mystery shapes have been a blob, which could have been a Christmas tree or a snowman, and
Capital J.
a capital J. That's it. For Jingle Bells.
Bingo. My first impression is this. So the shapes are hilarious. They don't look like real things. You can make them out, but you have to really see them and really like concentrate on it. Bad job on the shape, but the peanut butter to chocolate ratio that we always talk about, I think is fantastic in these.
This is closer to the big cup peanut butter chocolate ratio than it is the regular original.
It really kind of reminds me of a smaller version of like the tree or the egg or the
Yep.
pumpkin, you know. So,
Dude, I'm getting capital J's every single time.
you might have gotten the only tree left or whatever that
Mhm.
first thing was. Oh yeah, there's a torso. Look at that thing. I mean, maybe that's a torso.
I
Here,
think that's
this
supposed
is
to be a
this
bell.
is an out of shape torso, and this is an in shape torso. I don't know what that is. Bell, you think? Oh, bell.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's a Christmas bell.
How about that? Yeah, a little like
Mm-hmm.
little doohickey there.
Got the little hangy down
Mhm.
thing.
Maybe it's a throat. Maybe it's a throat.
Maybe it's the back of a throat. All right, what do we got? What are we rating these mystery shapes?
I got man, that's really good. I got a 9.7.
Ooh, I got the torso 9.7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 9.6, and I'm only knocking a point ahead, 1 decimal point off because they got to do better. Reese's
The
is
shape.
better than this.
Yeah.
Reese's is better than this.
I agree. This is top of the line.
Top
you gotta
of-
have the
oh.
top of the line shape.
Yeah, I mean, when I pull it out, I got to go. That's a bell
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right off the bat. Other than that, they're absolutely delicious, like usual.
Oh man.
So your socks.
Mm-hmm.
Since you lost today, how long till you give those a go?
You know what? I'm trying to. I'm giving up on the. Although I was gonna say I'm giving up on the superstition.
Yeah.
Although first game we won, wore red top.
Mm-hmm.
Thought about wearing the red top because of the win. Did not do that. Black top, loss. I like the black better, but I'm 0-1 in the black and I'm 1-0 in the red.
Look, Xavier, before every game, sends out this little cartoon looking thing, and it shows what uniforms are going to be wearing, what TV it's going to be on, what radio station it's on, whole thing. But they do like the cartoons of each player, and then they'll have a player with the uniform on, whether it's their white or they're white with baby blue, or they're white with regular blue, or they're baby blues with mostly that, or navies or grays or blacks or whatever they wear. But next to it, it always has what their record is that year in those uniforms.
Nice.
I
That's
like
helpful. That's helpful. That definitely makes people more superstitious. I'm sure.
100%. And I'm with you. I would tie the same shoes. I would do everything a specific way. I wore the same undershirt for every game. I used to do so many things, so many ways, same underwear. I mean, I wash them, but I would wear those same ones. I always had the same socks. I'd put my left shoe on right shoe or right shoe, whatever. I always had my thing that I would do. And then I would be like, oh man, I was thinking about like, I had I've had someone recently tell me they were watching a basketball game. This is before Russell Westbrook just started yelling out loud, counting on the free throw line while Giannis Antetokounmpo was taking free throws. Did you see that? Westbrook's on the free throw line yelling 1001, 1002 because Giannis takes forever on a free throw line.
Yep.
I had a guy tell me the only time he's ever seen a 10-second call in a game was in a game that I was playing in grade school. Because I got called for a 10-second violation.
Really?
Yeah. He said he was watching some kids play. He was watching kids play, or he was coaching, and there was a kid on the free throw line. He said, I was telling somebody about you during the game because you're the only person I've ever seen get called for a 10-second call. So like, but I was superstitious. If I did something slightly off, I'd reset and go back into my free throw routine.
You know, I don't know that I knew about that rule when we were in grade school. I thought that was a newer rule. Honestly.
Because nobody got called for it, because nobody actually counted. But when I take free throw, referee would go, oh my, okay, next time I'm counting this kid.
Yeah.
He's getting counted. This is taking too long. I will prove a point to this kid.
Oh, you had to shoot him like Pat Kelsey. So
exactly. His big old spin out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Spin in the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more smaller spin. Breath. Bend the knees. Shoot. It was. I could tell you. I could do it right now.
It took you 11 seconds to say that.
I know it exactly. So, anyway, I used to be incredibly superstitious. I don't care at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say that there's part of me that probably still does some things.
Same.
Like when I'm in a game, like when a game's happening and I'm coaching, especially in baseball, if a kid comes out and is throwing gas and is throwing strikes and gets first out, I won't move. I'll stay in that same spot. And I'll stay in that spot. Even if he gives up a hit, I'll stay in that spot until things get out of hand, and I'll move down a little bit or move here. Or like if I find myself talking to somebody or helping and then the game starts back up, I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. And I jump up and run back to my spot. So I do it in game. I think I still do it. But I'm very much a proponent of making sure that the kids and everybody around, like when they say, oh, sorry, I didn't wear this or I didn't do this, like it has has nothing to do with it. I think it's more because now as a coach, I get irritated. Like that has zero to do with it. We played like garbage. That's why we lost, or something like that. So anyway, the superstition. I didn't know if you had superstition with your socks or not.
No, not necessarily. No. I don't know. Maybe I need to. Yeah. Maybe I should get back to it.
I've thought about it too. Not now that we're talking about this, I think it might be time to get a little extra superstitious. I mean, I still don't step on a line when I walk out to go see a pitcher, or I tell my kids when we're warming up, if they're tossing or we're doing whatever drills before a game and a ball rolls onto the field, I stop them before they get done, or just let it go. You let it sit there until we go to warm up on the field, and then we throw it in. Do not step on that field. It's freshly dragged field, brand new lines. Do not put a footprint on that until this game's ready to start.
Yeah, I like that.
That irritates me. Don't walk on my field. If I just drug the field, don't walk out on the field.
Yeah.
If you got to set the bases up, you got to set the bases up. I get that. But don't just randomly decide you're going to walk out on the field.
Yeah.
So irritating.
It's just a newly manicured field just looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
You just don't want to mess it up until you have to.
So you have to. Absolutely.
All right.
Anyway, let's continue on our way. What's the first thing we got to talk about? Let's get off the sports things. Let's start off. What do you got going on? What do you have going on today?
I tell you a real quick story today. I'm sure. Well, I'll ask you in a second, but I'm getting home from work today. All right.
Okay.
I gotta go in and get a few things ready before I head out to our game. So I'm getting home from work, and I'm pulling down my street. I'm getting close to pulling in my driveway, and I see a guy that I figure out is going door to door about something.
Yep.
So he is crossing as I am approaching my driveway, he is crossing my next door neighbor's yard.
Oh man. Oh, you did. There's no way you pulled into your driveway.
I had to go in and get some stuff done, but because I had limited time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to face this. So I pull into the driveway. And I park kind of on the side of my house, and I'm like, okay, what's this going to be about? So I open my door, and he's crossing like the front of my yard, and I'm like on the side of my house now. So only, maybe 15 feet away or something like that. But as soon as I open my door, I think he's expecting me to step out right away. So I open my door and I hear him say from back there, go something like, "Hey, how you doing, sir? I'm so and so." And
You didn't get all your stuff out of your car
I'm
yet.
grabbing some shoes, I'm grabbing a backpack, I'm grabbing all this stuff to take him in the house. And so I hear him say that, and I take a few extra seconds. So then I'm like kind of rushing now because I'm like
Mhm.
leaving the guy hanging. And so I get out.
Did you
and-
act like you didn't hear him?
No, I get out and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah,
Yeah.
fine," or how's it going or whatever. And so he starts his spiel right
Right
away.
into it. Yeah. ABC, always be selling.
Right.
Always be closing. ABC, always be closing.
Always be selling. Always be generating new cells on your body.
On your body. Cells.
Oh.
Yeah, cells.
So he starts his whole thing, and let me ask you this: so, do you get many solicitors around here?
Yeah. So Delhi actually has a website, and like people have to ask to be allowed to go door to door in Delhi.
Okay,
So yeah, like they have to get a license, or maybe not a license, but like it has to be approved. It has to be approved. Yeah, and they have to have credentials and all this other stuff that has to be. So if somebody comes to your house and they don't have a credential on them, then you can be like, nah, baby, nah, I'm up out of here, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get them every now and then. But during the day, I'm not home. So
Yeah, I work from home a couple days a week, and there have been times where I get a knock on the door, and it's always everybody. And there, so many people have talked about this, and comedians have talked about how different it is now. Like, you didn't think so much about it years and years ago. If somebody knocked on your door, it's probably a neighbor, a friend, whatever. People showed up. Now it's like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting it. Somebody knocked on my door. Turn off the lights, turn off the TV, lock the door, go in the basement, something.
Yeah.
And so it is. I mean, I'm guilty of that a little bit. Because I'm like, who would be knocking on my door right now?
Yeah.
But anyway, you go answer it, and then you gotta. Some people, it's easy for them to just slam a door in somebody's face, and some people, you can't say no to people, and you gotta let them talk. And I think we're probably a little bit like that. So anyway,
I'm more late. I used to be. You're gonna get to say everything you want to say when I go to a door. Lately, though, we've been so busy in life for the last, even through the pandemic. Like we've just been busy with kids stuff and everything. I will tell somebody, man, I ain't got no time. I'm sorry, I don't have time. Appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing, but I don't have time. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I will not close the door in their face, but I'll ask for a card or something. And just go ahead.
Yeah.
Be on your way.
Right. That's the other thing I do is I'm like, somebody wants to sell me something. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable making just a quick decision like this.
Yeah.
Is there a website or something I can look up? I'll look into more information.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, how about this? How about this though? I'll give you an extra 20% off of the first 20% I was going to give you. We'll do an extra 20% off if you sign up right now. I hate that.
Yeah.
When people do stuff like that, that makes me so mad. Like I just told you I want to do research on it. I'm done.
Yeah. The price isn't, maybe for some people they say that and then the price drops low enough and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm seriously like, I don't want to buy whatever you're selling almost automatically.
Yeah. No matter what. The fact that you knocked on my door and disturbed my peace, I'm not that already makes me want to say no to whatever it is.
Yeah.
You could be selling me gold for
free.
3 cents. Yeah, for free. And I'm like, no, man.
There's something to this.
Yep.
You're
Get
gonna,
away, dude.
You're casing my house. You're gonna come back tonight, rob me or something. Yeah. So, but I have a hard time shooing people away. So, so sometimes I'm stuck there for a while, and at some point I'm like, I do kind of get what I need and be like, okay, look, I'm really sorry, man. Especially while I am working. I know it's not a lie. I'm like, man, I'm in the middle of working. I'm in the middle of the workday. I really have to get back, so, and they'll still press. I mean, they will
so
still
annoying,
press.
isn't it? Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say is it blows my mind that anybody does door to door anymore. Like, I feel like most people are probably so rude and just want to shut the door in your face.
Or do what my wife does and literally be standing in the living room, make eye contact with somebody who's knocking or ringing your doorbell and looking in through the side light of the window next to the door, and make eye contact and just turn around like I'm just pretend like that didn't happen. I got too much going on. I'm not answering the door. Erin, I don't blame her though. She's home by herself. She's like, I ain't let answer the door for somebody to come in. Nah, that ain't happening.
Yep.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Cool.
Good thing is we have 2 dogs, so go ahead, come to my house.
You guys have 2 horses that walk around in this house.
And
So, yeah, I mean, they will shove a nose right up somebody's crack,
and they will,
because both of them
they
did
will
to me
knock
right
your,
before we started.
and they'll knock you down. They until they get to know you, which they know you, so they don't really jump on you anymore. But boy, I'll tell you what, they knock people over.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I had that going on today for a brief time, and real nice guy and everything, and real young guy it looked like, and I was like, man, and this is like the 3rd or 4th person who has shown up to we're gonna have somebody in the area tomorrow or the next day to give you a free estimate on your basement.
Yeah.
Everybody, there's a big basement thing going on now.
The basement thing or the roof. It's always, hey, I've got a crew in the neighborhood next week. They've got about 4 or 5 jobs. We can get somebody over here and get you an estimate on your roof. Man, that roof just been replaced like 6 years ago. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we had some hail. Yeah, it's a roof. It'd be fine.
Yeah. Yep. And I legitimately a couple of years ago had a guy within the last couple of years had somebody from like one of the bigger basement ceiling companies or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually did come out and go into my basement and look around and, told me, kind of gave me an estimate.
Yeah.
I think it might've been the first company that did that or whatever a few years ago. And I'm like, okay. It was one of those times where I just kind of gave in.
Yeah.
And
did you get it done? So you got it done.
Well, the estimate.
The estimate.
Yeah. And it was going to be like $20,000 to waterproof your basement.
Yeah.
Like, well,
yeah,
I mean,
good.
Yeah.
I got no water in here right now. It's not finished. I'm not really worried about it.
It's not
if
finished.
I see water, then we'll talk.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I really pretty much told him that. I said, I actually do get a tiny bit, but it's like, you don't even see it coming in. You just like, will see like a little puddle at the base of the wall or something like that. And it's all concrete down there. It's not, it's not ruining anything. So, and there are drains down there and everything. So I'm like, there's no reason to get
except for the
like
deterioration that the water does to the concrete.
Yeah. And I've got cracks in the foundation and stuff. But it's just regular cracking from being.
Yep. It's one of those things. You get it done when it needs to get done.
Yeah. I was like, if I go to sell the house and that's the difference and I got to put that money into it to get more out, maybe I'll do that. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the solicitor thing is always funny. It's always a funny situation.
My favorite one. So I have Simply Safe alarm system, and a guy comes to the house and he's selling some other alarm system. And I'm like, oh man, I got Simply Safe and we like it. I have no problems with it. He goes, well, just let me show you what we can do. And I had time that day.
Sure.
My favorite is this. First thing, don't do this if you're a door-to-door salesman. Can I come in and show you? No, you can't come in. I was like, no, you're not coming in my house. I said, you're trying to sell me a security system and you're asking to come into my house. I mean, that's as unsecure as I could possibly be.
At some point,
I told him that.
Yeah, at some point he would hit part of his pitch would be like, you did let me in here. Exactly. You got to be safer. Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I'm good. He said, well, I really would like to have a table so I can put all this out for you. And I was like, perfect. Walked around to my truck, opened the truck bed. I said, here's your table, brother. He goes, well, if we need to I was like, this is fine. So he showed me this stuff. Everything is exactly the same as what I got. And it's more. And I'm like, I don't understand. I said, I set all this stuff up. Well, we'll have somebody here that can set it up. I said, the installation was free for this. I literally just put all this stuff in. Why would I switch? Well, this has an infrared on the camera. I was like, you're telling me that I just paid all this money for all this stuff, installed it myself, and you've got this there's only one thing that makes yours more expensive, and it's some kind of infrared on something that I don't think that it even matters. And you're telling me that you want me to just get rid of all this stuff, pay even more money for somebody to bring something else in? I said, does that even make sense to you? What would you do if you're in my case? He's like, I understand. I said, I'll tell you what, though. if you want practice, you can continue your spiel. So I told him, I said, if you want practice, you're more than welcome to keep going. And he did.
Did he really?
I was out there for 20 minutes.
Wow.
It was awesome. And I kept just going back to him, trying to make, helping him out. Like, I'll be the guy. I'm going to give you give me your pitch. I'll give you an argument to it. You reply. Tell me, let's play it. Like, play the game. I'll play the game with you. I'll be the devil's advocate. Let's have some fun.
He tried to get a sucker and he ended up getting a coach.
He did. He tried to get a sucker and he ended up getting a coach. He got a guy. He's probably like, oh my God, now all I really want to do is get away from this guy because he's not buying anything. And he just told me to take another however much time I need. I probably didn't want to be there at all. But there's some little thing in the back of his mind that said, I'm still get this guy maybe. No, baby, no. Totally wasted his time. Totally wasted his time. Sometimes that's how speaking of, this is another perfect one. Yesterday, I get a phone call. Okay, before we get into the sports, I got a phone call yesterday, and it's some, whatever, Oregon or Washington or Nevada, wherever it came from. Mm-hmm. And I answered, hello, and it's always a pause. And whenever there's a pause, that means. So I worked at a phone center before, right? So the pause means somebody answered the phone. We got to send it to somebody. That guy was not on the phone when you answered. That's just how it works, right? When you pick up your phone, they go, oh, somebody actually answered it, and they switch it to somebody. So answer phone, hello, dead silent, and then all of a sudden you hear the background noise, and somebody's there. Hello, this is Mike from
Romesh Ranganathan.
Romesh Ranganathan. Yeah, exactly. But their name's always like Mike or Adam.
Yeah.
And super crazy accent. And he goes, with Medicare. And I said, Medicare? And he said, yeah, what are you, an idiot? Did you not hear that I just said Medicare? Now this is in like a complete Indian accent or whatever. I don't want to say Indian like it was I don't know.
He said that?
Yeah, totally did. And I started laughing. I'm like, I was just making sure I heard what you were calling about. I'm 39 years old and don't have any disabilities or anything. I don't need Medicare. And he goes, oh, so you are an idiot. And I was like, what? I guess so. And he hung up the phone. Oh boy, had a bad day. He was having a bad day. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Romesh.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I just didn't hear you. I was just making sure that I understood that you were calling me about Medicare. Oh, so you really are an idiot.
No, he was calling you about being an idiot.
I was like, I hope that made that guy's day because it just made mine. Wow. It just made my day.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Why are you calling me at 5:30 saying that you're with Medicare? And then when I just repeat, all I did was say, Medicare? Yeah, what are you, an idiot? Did you not hear me the first time? I said Medicare. And I was like, okay, all right, I got you, brother. I just didn't hear you. I'm 39 years old. So you are an idiot. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, this was fun. Next thing, and he just hung the phone up right then and there.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I try to talk to these people all the time. Like when I answer the phone and I try to just talk in circles with whoever's answering the phone. And a lot of times they get mad. They get really upset. I've had people get upset with me on the phone before. I've never had somebody call me an idiot, but I have
immediately.
Yeah, right off the bat,
have
dude,
to work
I
for it.
didn't work for it. That was the crazy part. I did zero work for it. And I was immediately called an idiot. But I usually do work those people a little bit, right? Like if somebody calls me up, I'll be like, hi, this is Mike with Medicare. And I'll be like, Medicare? Yes, that's right, with Medicare. I said, oh, so what are you selling? Immediately, well, insurance. Oh, insurance. Okay, well, I have insurance. What kind of insurance are you selling? Well, Medicare. Like, I just totally keep on, like, I'm going to play you. You're calling me bugging the hell out of me. I'm at least going to have fun. And then eventually they're like, okay, I get it. Like something, I'll get stuff like that all the time. All right, I get it. And they hang up. Like, they're like, okay, this guy's just playing.
An idiot.
He's just having, he's an idiot. Now there's something in my file. Now I've got something in my file for telemarketers that says, because as soon as that pops up that this guy answered the phone, it comes up on their screen. It says, this dude's an idiot. And they're like, oh, Jesus, I got to talk to this idiot.
Oh, I can't believe that happened.
Totally got called an idiot. I got asked if I was an idiot and then told, yep, Yes, you are an idiot.
Because you're 39. That's why you're an idiot.
You called me, man. You called me and said, this is Mike with Medicare. And I said, Medicare? Well, yeah, that's what I said. Are you an idiot? Oh, geez, this is getting off to a good start.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I totally
That-
forgot about that.
Thank you for the title, 39-year-old idiot.
39-year-old idiot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's unbelievable.
Yep. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's solicitors and people that call. I love playing with people that call me. I really do. It is so much fun playing with people. Oh, so much fun when people call me. I had a guy calling about something, some kind of your credit card hasn't been used, but we can get your interest rate better. And I actually talked to the guy for a little while before he finally got annoyed with me and hung up. I was like, hey man, I said, what credit card can you fix for me? Like, what credit card can you make better on interest? And he's like, well, we're selling, what we have is this credit card. And I was like, oh, no. I've got a credit card. You said you could make my interest better. Well, yeah, we can make it better by giving you this card. So you said you knew something about my card, man. What are you talking about, man? I need help with this. Make my look. You tell me what kind of card, what card. I got 2 cards. You tell me which one it is, and I'll tell you if you can help me with it. Well, sir, it's not how it works. Well, that's what the recording said when I hit 1. I love playing with them. I love playing with them for a while. All right, that's enough of that.
Oh man.
Have you pulled up anything on the Major League Baseball free agents? Because the first big one I saw was Trey Turner, $300 million, 11 years,
Something like that.
something like
Yeah.
that, to the Phillies. The Phillies are legit and ready to go. Verlander signed, DeGrom signed, like all the big free agents out there are making moves. Teams are making moves. What do you make of it?
I have a question for you about this. So,
Okay.
Jacob DeGrom, who's, you could easily argue as the best pitcher in baseball.
Back-to-back Cy Youngs, had a little bit of arm problems the last couple of years, but before that, back-to-back Cy Youngs, and when he did pitch, was unstoppable.
He signed with the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
And, if you're a free agent and the Texas Rangers haven't been a winning franchise for a long time, they've had some off seasons where they've spent money and they've really tried to load up. It hasn't worked out since the Michael Young days, maybe.
Yeah, Michael
They had
Young
a few,
and,
Adrian Beltre and those
yeah.
guys.
Josh Hamilton and
Right. And even those teams had really good players, and they probably had a couple seasons here and there that were good, but they haven't been a winning team. They haven't won playoff games and stuff like that.
That was Ron Washington years.
Yeah.
And you wonder why Josh Hamilton went back to the Coke. Don't hang out with your coach.
Be careful. Be careful how you speak about the God, Ron.
I love Ron Washington, but oh boy, he's got an affection for the powder.
I know.
I can't. It just is. I'm not. Am I speaking a non-truth?
No.
Has he not been busted for that?
This is a Ron Washington pro Ron Washington podcast.
100. There's no doubt about it.
We both love that guy.
Before every single baseball practice, we do the Ron Washington drill. It's just pick progressions, but we do the Ron Washington drill, who he says he developed himself, which then he later on said that he got most of it from a coach when he was in the minors. But this is mine. This is all mine. I did this.
Every coach copies off of everybody else. Jacob DeGrom, I mean, huge signing, great signing for Texas, but I mean, do you sign with a team that has not been very good for a long time? It's hard to not think that it's, in that case, he's chasing as much money as he can get. And maybe that's the case. Maybe he's far enough along in his career. And like you said, he's had a couple little problems with the arm. And maybe he's like, you know what? I'm going to get as much money as I possibly can. I'll do the best I can with this team. If we win, great. If not, I'm going to collect my money and then I'm going to live the rest of my life very comfortably.
Absolutely. He could have made money somewhere else, but
certainly. That's the thing.
Is Texas one of those states with no taxes and all that, no income tax? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to There's a lot to that, man. I'm signing in Miami or Texas or or Florida or Texas, somewhere where I don't have to pay that extra 30% tax or whatever comes out of your income. I'll tell you what, bro. You're talking about that kind of money. I love winning. Winning means a lot. Winning means everything. But now you're talking about my livelihood. You know, I hate when people say, well, what's the big difference if he's making $300 million or if he makes $250 million? $50 million is the difference. If I told you, here's $50 million, do you want it? You're going to say yes. And then if I say, nope, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and take it. That's $50 million. Yeah. That's a lot.
Right. So I guess, look, and that's fine. If you are looking for cash, if that's your main motivation at this point, okay, that's okay.
Mhm.
But it would just be hard for me to imagine, you're going to be the only guy, or, they probably have a couple young guys.
They
that are
thought
not
that
bad
about
pitchers.
Bryce Harper. People were talking about that with Bryce Harper when he went to the Phillies. They hadn't been good for a long time. And then they spent all that money on him. And 2-3 years in, they weren't very good. They weren't great. And then all of a sudden, not only do they make the playoffs for the first time in a few years, but they go all the way to the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were already okay, weren't they? I mean,
The Phillies?
yeah.
When was the last time the Phillies were in the playoffs?
I thought they were, well, they were at least competitive for the last 3 or 4 years.
The Phillies weren't even in the playoffs when they had the expanded playoffs that the Reds made during COVID.
Yeah, but I thought they were always at least for most of the season, like up there with
Talking about last year?
Atlanta. No, I mean like the last 3 or 4 years. I thought they were at least like one of the better teams, because they had Aaron Nola and they had a few guys that were already pretty good players. But anyway,
besides the point.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No,
you digress.
It's interesting to see where guys sign and for what reason. We don't know for what reason for sure, but it's just interesting that he went to a team like the Rangers, who have a long way to go to be good. And then, the Mets have poured tons of money into their team the last few years, and it finally paid off this year. They were finally good. But now you lose your best player, your best asset. However, they went ahead and filled that hole right away.
Yes, they did.
Filled the DeGrom hole with a 40-year-old Justin Verlander, who is going to make $43 million over the next 2 years, each of the next 2 years. 2 years, $86 million.
Good for him, man. That dude deserves it. He is
incredible.
The fact that he's 40 years old or whatever, 42, he's 40. The fact that he's 40 years old and is still the best pitcher in the American League, and in his career, I mean, you could go out there and say this dude's like a Nolan Ryan right now. Like, this guy has been great since the beginning.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
Yep.
I mean, he had the 1 year where he lost 20 games and then all of a sudden was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
He had a bunch of he had a couple no hitters, and they had the commercial with perfect game guys, and he's like, come on, man, I got 3 no hitters, and they're like, nope, still can't get in here.
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny.
Yeah. So he moves from to your point, from the American League to the National League, and fills that spot. And it'll be interesting to see. You would think the Mets shouldn't miss a beat with that change, but you never know when he's a pitcher and he's 40 years old. As good as he looked this year, at any moment, Father Time catches up to you at some point.
Sure, but if you're the Mets, you've got a guy in Jacob deGrom who 3 and 4 years ago was the best pitcher. Nobody could even come close to him in baseball, but for the last 2 years has been injury prone. So you've had to deal with that with your number one anyway.
Yeah. And that's why a 2-year deal is safe.
Sure.
Pretty safe.
Yeah.
So good for both sides there. You mentioned Trey Turner. That's a big pickup for the Phillies. Wilson Contreras. So they went from one all-star catcher. The Yadier Molina era is over in St. Louis, and they signed former Cubs all-star catcher Wilson Contreras today. Several other decent sized signings. I mean, those are the biggest guys, Verlander and DeGrom and Turner. But Jose Abreu signed with the Astros, who are already the best team in baseball, and they signed Jose Abreu to be their first baseman.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what about Aaron Judge? Did Aaron Judge sign this contract with the Yankees?
He did.
360 for 9 years.
9 years, 360.
Were you expecting that? Did you think he would go somewhere? I kind of was getting the feeling that he was leaving.
I kind of felt like he might stay with the Yankees, but I had no clue what to expect. Well, I mean, you kind of get an idea what to expect when you see what other guys are signing for, but it wouldn't have surprised me if he went somewhere else. But it didn't. It definitely didn't surprise me that he stayed with the Yankees. It's always nice to see guys stay with the teams that they.
And
that they
he's
played
one
with.
of those guys that feels like that's who he is. You know what I mean? He feels like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
The kind of guy who would want to be in the same place forever. You know, he feels like that Yankee great. He's got the home run record in the American League now, all the different stuff. I mean, it does feel that way.
Yeah. Yep. At some point, the 99 will be added to the 78 other
Yeah.
retired jerseys.
Yeah, that the Yankees have. Yankees have nothing but
Yep.
retired jerseys. I don't know how anybody can even get a number in the Yankees organ. That's why he is 99, because there is no other decent numbers anywhere.
One thing I missed from a few days from I think Friday.
Rizzo's is staying with the Yankees.
Okay.
$17 million a year.
Wow.
Good for him.
Who was the other one I was just thinking about? Oh, the other thing that I missed somehow a few days ago that I just saw today is, and this is really mostly just because we're Cincinnati people, but Jesse Winker was traded to the Brewers.
Wow,
So
really? So we're
gonna
gonna see a lot of him. That's insane.
Yeah. I think he fell out of favor in Seattle. He did not hit very well, and I think
You know who they do like in Seattle though?
Who's that?
Is Eugenio Suarez. They love him some Suarez down there.
Yeah, very likable guy.
There. Yeah,
he was a fan favorite here too.
absolutely.
Hits home runs and strikes out so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
I'm trying to look at some of these other guys. Jameson Taylor went to the Cubs, and Robert Suarez to San Diego. Edwin Diaz to the Mets. He stayed with the Mets. Edwin Diaz was the one. He's the reliever that comes out to that trumpet song, right?
Oh,
I got a kid on the team that's his walk-up music is that trumpet sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. I mean, a bunch of guys that are familiar names that have signed, and I'm sure there will be more, but those big guys are the ones who are the most interesting. And guys, this happens almost every year now in the NBA too. Guys, big names, great players change teams, and it's always so fun to see how those guys change clubs from one year to another.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. But Chris, we have to we'll move on. And what's next? What do we have next? NFL
I think
picks?
NFL picks are next. Do you have any idea? So yeah, how did we do last week?
Okay. Last week.
I'm super. Oh, how's this look here?
Yeah, take a look at that while I check these out. So NFL picks from last week is something that I did forget to check out, but I will very quickly check this out. So week 13 was last week. I'm just speaking to the microphone. And let's see. So
I hate to tell you this, bud, but Andre, we're gonna get to hear Andre sing.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm feeling really confident about Andre singing now.
The only thing that is interesting is most of the last, what do we have, like 5 weeks left?
Mm-hmm.
Most of those weeks, he and I have similar picks, and yours are opposite of ours. So if you go on a run and we both get a bunch wrong, I think that's the only way that you can pass. You know what I mean? Like no, sorry.
I'm on
If
a
we
good right
get
now.
on a run,
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that there could be, because it's like a 2-game difference.
It's a 2-game difference.
Yeah, and it also number one, it depends on what their record ends up.
They're gonna end
13-4. The way they look now,
why not?
Why not? All right, so I have to quickly do this. So the Raiders got that win, so that's one for me. How did the Rams and Seahawks do? The Seahawks beat them by 4.
That's not gonna work for you.
Well,
You took the Rams, didn't you?
Is that 7.5?
Yeah, but
Is it-
you took the Rams minus 7.5.
No, Seattle's minus 7.5.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So yeah, so the Rams covered that. And then Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and that was where'd they go? That was Pittsburgh won by 3. So no, got that one wrong. So I was 2-1.
Okay.
You had Houston. Cleveland was
No,
7 point
that they won by
favorite.
30. That's a loss.
Yeah, 13.
I took Indy in the Dallas. That was a blowout. That's a loss.
You remember these, don't you?
Absolutely. And then what was the last one? The
Oh,
Jets
yeah.
and who did I take? Minnesota. That one I got. All right. So I'm
There you go.
1-2.
You're 1-2. I was 2-1. So that leaves us at
You got a game on me. I was up 4 games on you, if I'm not mistaken. I
3 games.
was up 3 games. So you
3
game.
games.
Okay.
So now I'm 16-17. I'm 16-17. You are 18-15.
18-15 against the spread. All right. Let's make
So
this
2
thing
games.
happen. Let's get a little better right here. It's time to work the magic. I need to get a little bit more out in front. You caught a game up on me. I'm going first. I got the L right there. I'm going first because I know you're not ready, which always makes you a little oh, you are ready? Oh, okay, never mind. Then go ahead.
No, you got it.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yep.
So as always, we do this Wednesday nights. We pick these games off the spread of Wednesday's spread out of the ESPN app, just because that's what we're using. Let's start off. The Vikings 10-2 against the Lions, 5-7. Why are the Lions a 2.5-point favorite in that game? Did something happen to Kirk Cousins that I don't know about?
I saw the same thing. I don't know.
Hold on.
That was weird.
There's what's going on? What happened to Kirk Cousins? Why in God's name would man, I feel like I haven't I didn't listen to the radio today, but did something happen?
I don't know of anything happening, but I took Minnesota in that too. So take them. I mean, even if Kirk Cousins is hurt, Minnesota might be that much better than Detroit,
I'm so confused on this.
or I should say, still better than Detroit.
Okay, I'm taking Minnesota in Detroit. Detroit is 2.5. I mean, Detroit's been winning games and they've looked really good, but favorites against the Vikings, no way. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Jags, Titans. Titans are 4-point favorites. You never know what you're going to get out of the Jaguars team. They're so up and down. Titans, same way. I feel pretty good about that. Let's go Tennessee -4 at home. And then last but not least, let's see here. The Dolphins have been on fire. You got the Chargers at Sunday night, 6-6. Miami, that's a home underdog. Seattle -3 against the Panthers at home. Man, I feel like Seattle should kill in that game. You just never know, though. I mean, Seattle doesn't go out there and blow teams out. So hard to say. And this is how I do my picks every week on this show. So you're just going to have to deal with it because I'm going to talk my way in and out of everything. How about Tampa Bay on Monday night? Did you see that? I only watched like the last 5 minutes of that game. And when I turned it on, they're losing 16-3 with like 5 minutes left.
Whoa.
They get the ball back, go down and score, stop them, get the ball back, and then they go all the way down and score on the last second drive. And that's with like 3 holding penalties by their left tackle, which that dude was, trust me, he got his head scolded in because one of them was a touchdown pass with like 30 seconds to go. Instead, they got it with 1 second to go.
Tommy, get him.
Tommy, not during the game, but he did say afterwards, he's like, I don't know how he got a holding penalty. I feel like I literally caught the snap and threw it immediately. I don't know how he had time to hold somebody. So I was like, oh, that's his way of saying, bro, you got to get your hands together, right?
Yeah.
But, so then you never know. Does this mean Tampa Bay's getting on some kind of roll? 49ers are hotter than firecrackers. Maybe not hotter than firecrackers, but they're pretty hot right now. Jimmy G is hurt. So they're going with some dude I ain't never heard of, their third string quarterback. So that could be a tough game, although with all the weapons he has, may not be a big deal anyway. Chiefs 9-3 versus the Broncos 3-9 in Denver. 9.5-point favorites. I don't want to mess with that game either. All right. How many games have I chosen so far?
2.
So I just need one more.
Yep.
Bengals Browns in Cincinnati. Bengals are my 6-point favorites. I am going to take the Cincinnati Bengals minus the points. This Bengals team is hot. This Bengals team looks good. Deshaun Watson does not look good in any way, shape, or form. Looks rusty, not very good. Our defense is taking balls away from people. This could be a 3-turnover game for Deshaun Watson. And the offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals has looked as good as any offensive line in the NFL since they've had their bye week. Going off what might have been the worst offensive line for the first half of the season, I'm loving it. And Burrow looks comfortable, and Chase is back. And even though my man Tyler Boyd dropped a wide open pass in the end zone, I've never seen him drop a pass, much less drop one that wide open. So I feel totally confident about this team. Pirine is running the ball great. Plus, you get Mixon back. What kind of 1-2 punch is that going to be? Love it, because Pirine earned his way of getting more touches, which it can be a good thing for a guy like Mixon. A few less touches, but when he gets them, do your thing with it, right?
Yeah,
some breaks. So anyway, that's how I feel about that.
All right. I'm going to make this easy because I had 3 written down. 2 of them are the same that you just picked. So I'm going.
There you go. All right.
I'm going Minnesota and Tennessee, and then the only chance I have to pick up a game on you then is I'm taking Kansas City with all 9.5 points.
Ooh, that's a big one, dude. You just never know. I just never know.
Coming off a loss, they're a really good team. Coming off a loss, I think they're going to be hungry to make a massive improvement over that game against the Bengals.
Yep.
And I think they're going to want to kill somebody. And Travis Kelce has never had 2 terrible games in a row. And I just don't think he is carrying my fantasy team. So I need him to have a big game. That bad one last week.
That's what it's all about.
So anyway, I'll go ahead with Kansas City, and then we can move on to the Mount Rushmore of
love it.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'm pretty excited about this because I think that we're not going to have the same people on this. I'm just going to let you know.
Okay.
Because when I did my Mount Rushmore, okay. I didn't go out here and go, I'm going to do the Mount Rushmore of, the greatest players of all time. I said, I'm doing my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Right. So I don't have a Willie Stargell. I don't have a Barry Bonds. I don't have Bobby Bonilla.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do the one that I have written down after you do yours, and then I'm going to try to do my personal favorite Pittsburgh Pirates one.
Oh, really should we do both of them? Should we do 2?
You don't have to.
No, let's do 2. Hold on. I can do the
first 3 are really easy.
Just right off the bat. I mean, Roberto Clemente, right? Roberto Clemente. Barry Bonds, obviously. The guy was a multiple MVP winner before he left and did steroids. And then Andrew McCutchen, multiple MVPs, phenomenal player, great Pittsburgh in his prime years in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh was good. And then let's go with a 4th one. Let's go. I don't know. Who would your 4th be for like the really good, like for an actual team? Do you have those 3 on there?
The first, I didn't put McCutchen on mine.
Okay.
The next guy that I would
Thompson?
think of would be the
shot heard around the world.
The first guy that I would think of was it you mean Mazeroski?
Oh, Bill Mazeroski. Yeah. Sorry. Who did I say?
Bobby Thompson.
Bobby Thompson.
Giants, right?
Yeah, he was the Giants guy who threw his arm out and he had cancer in his arm or something like that, and he threw.
But there was another Bobby Thompson, though, right?
I don't know.
Maybe that was Robbie Thompson. Was that Robbie?
Maybe
Thompson?
That was Robbie Thompson that happened to.
All right.
Was it Dave Righetti?
Dave Righetti. That might have been Dave Righetti.
I think it was Dave Righetti. Now that I started talking, you know who's going to know this? I talk about this all the time. We used to have a book. My dad had a book when I was little.
Know that for sure.
He's definitely going to know who it is. He's going to let me know.
Yeah. And then
I'll get a text Friday night. It was Dave Righetti.
Yeah. Yes, please, Chris's dad, chime in. The next guy that the first 3 I thought of were were Clemente, Bonds, and Stargell. Those are the first.
Oh,
three
Willie
thought
Stargell. That would be okay. I'm definitely putting Willie Stargell on there.
Yeah.
I even said him just a minute ago. All right, so then I am gonna go with my personal Mount Rushmore, and I'll start with two. Roberto Clemente, obviously, Dad's favorite player, and guy was an amazing human being and an amazing player. Andrew McCutchen, I'm going with him because he was really good for that team while they were really good. But I'm going back. I'm going back now. I'm putting Bobby Witt on there.
Bobby Witt.
Who pitched for many teams, but
Did he pitch for Pittsburgh? Okay.
yeah, I'm staring at the baseball card of Bobby Witt with the Pirates. Maybe I should look it up because I didn't look it up. I just feel like I have a baseball card with Bobby Witt, and I always thought, oh, I'm gonna tell everybody that's my Uncle Bobby.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time.
I think I imagined him with the Texas Rangers.
I think Bobby Witt played for 11 teams in 12 years, but I'm going to look him up while you do yours.
Right.
But my last one, how do you not have Andy Van Slyke on your most liked? I was thinking about like a Jason Kendall or something like that. And if I need to, I'll put Kendall on there if Bobby Witt never played for them. But yeah, Andy Van Slyke has to be on there.
Andy Van Slyke. Yep. That he's in the Bonds era, the Bonds, Bonilla, Andy Van Slyke era.
Yep.
Yeah, most of my personal favorite one is gonna be as random guys
I
from that
immediately
era.
got Bobby Witt Jr., his son that's playing right now. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Very good player. Okay, my real one, Bonds, Clemente, Stargell, and I went with Honus Wagner.
Wow, he never played for Pittsburgh.
Who?
Bobby Witt never played for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
All right, so I'm putting Jason Kendall on there.
Jason Kendall was a good, tough guy, good
Tough
catcher.
dude, man. No batting gloves. Bat 315 for you all the time. Like underrated hitting catcher.
Yeah. All right. So Honus Wagner, everybody knows Bonds, Clemente, and Stargell. But
Honus Wagner was one of the original was it 6 or 8 people that got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yeah. He played from 1900 to 1917.
Do you know who the original players to get inducted into the Hall of Fame were?
I've heard it a bunch of times. I mean, it would be like Honus Wagner and Babe Ruth. And,
Honus Wagner, Babe Ruth, yep, Christy Mathewson, Ty Cobb,
yep,
Cy Young. I'm missing somebody.
Again, Randy Witt, go ahead and chime in.
Well, I had a book. I used to read that book all the time about this.
I've heard it plenty of times. I just haven't thought about it in a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry,
Cap Anson or somebody like that.
No, I don't think it was like a Nap LaJoy or LaJoy, whatever. I don't think it was one of him, or I don't think it was Cap Anson or like a Nellie Fox. It was somebody. It's like they're all like ones that you're like, oh yeah, well, he was the greatest of that moment. Oh, Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson
was the other one.
go.
The Georgia Peach.
There you go.
No, the Georgia Peach was Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
What was Walter Johnson? He had a nickname too.
The Georgia watermelon. I don't know.
Go ahead. Wait a minute. Ty Cobb. Was Ty Cobb the Georgia Peach? Who was the Georgia Peach? You sure it wasn't?
It sounds right.
You're like, I don't really care. I got to finish this.
Career stats as a Pirate, Honus Wagner hit 328 in 18 seasons with them. 394, 468. That was a slash line. Only hit 82 home runs, but had almost 1,500 RBIs, and was 33 hits short of 3,000. That doesn't say, so 862. Anyway, Honus Wagner, of all the people on the list that I looked at, went ahead and
one of the greatest players of all time. I just went ahead and did people in the modern era.
Most valuable,
the live ball era.
Yeah. Most valuable card ever, I believe.
Yep.
Anyway, but you talk about McCutchen and there was, Paul Wainer and Pie Trainer and Ralph Kiner and Archie Vaughn.
Ralph Kiner, that's one right there. I don't know who your painters and tainers and Wainers are, but I'll take a Ralph Kiner any day of the week.
You've heard of all those guys. Archie Vaughn, I almost put him on just for his name, but I'm gonna go. Let's see, off the top of my head for just favorites, I'm going Don Slott, I'm going I'm going Carmelo Martinez. I'm gonna go or did he am I thinking of San Diego now? All right, scratch Carmelo Martinez.
Okay.
Give me for real though, give me Dave Parker. Let me think.
Dave Parker, huh?
Yeah.
I love. What did they
Dave
call him?
Parker.
The Snake, or what was his name?
Cobra.
The Cobra.
Let me see. Okay. Dave Parker, Don Slott, um, Sid Bream.
Sid Bream for sure.
And then you have, let's see, let's throw let's give me Doug Dre back. Okay.
Whoa, nicely done. Cy Young Award winner.
1990.
Yeah. Not with Pittsburgh though. Wasn't that with he was with Detroit, or was that with Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
He was with Detroit too for a while, wasn't he? Or no?
Maybe. I don't know. I only remember.
Oh,
him with
man, I used to
Pittsburgh.
know so much about so many things. And my mind is gone.
Same, dude.
What can you
Can't
do
remember
to make
anything.
your mind go back? I used to know every stat, every little everything from the 90s and as a kid.
Yep.
I don't remember anything anymore.
Yep.
Nothing.
Give me Wally
I
Backman.
thought Bobby Witt played for Pittsburgh.
Bobby Witt. Yeah. Did he play for Texas?
Oh, for like
Did you see
a
that?
billion years.
That's
And then he
awesome.
came back to Texas.
All righty. Well, we have. Wait a second. What? Okay. I didn't write down them. So mine was a 9.7. Yours was a 9.6 for Reese's.
Yep.
And then
Up.
speaking of ratings, I think our last thing on the agenda today is our comedy special.
I think it is, my friend. I think it is. I started off the Mount Rushmore. Why don't you start off the comedy?
All right. So if I tried to listen closely, he said it a few times. I think it's Romesh Ranganathan.
They kept saying like
Something like
Rom,
that.
hey Rom, hey Rom.
Yeah.
So apparently the dude's he's pretty popular guy. I mean, it sounds like the way he's
In the
talking about
UK.
himself in the UK, right? Like, I mean, good for him. So I still don't know too much about this guy. And I listened to a lot of this without watching it. Like I had it in my pocket and just had an earbud in. Wrong, that like accent makes I use subtitles for a reason when I watch almost everything now. So it was a little difficult, and I totally honest, I didn't listen to the last 11 minutes because I ran out of time.
That's okay. Okay. Do you want
No, go ahead.
to? Yeah, a guy that I've never heard of before, but apparently really big outside of the United States.
He's in some shows and stuff. So
his appearance didn't match his or his accent didn't match his appearance.
No.
I expected something different.
Yeah, you expected like a Middle Eastern accent
Sure.
instead of a.
His parents were Sri Lankan. But
Do you know where Sri Lanka is?
I'm gonna say
if I gave you if I showed 3 different people to you and they all looked totally different, one of them was this guy, would you think that's what a Sri Lankan looked like?
No.
I just figured Sri Lankan was like Dutch or something, just a bunch of blonde haired, blue eyed.
No, I think it's in Asia somewhere, but like the Middle East.
Somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he has a couple of kids and a wife, and he talked a lot about that stuff, as comedians do a lot. He's not bad. Yeah, I didn't really laugh out loud much, if at all.
I thought he was good with his timing and his what do you call it, cadence, or like his jokes were written well. Like he didn't stumble over himself or jump out too fast or anything like that. I thought he did. I thought it was pretty done all right there.
Yeah, he seemed comfortable. See, I guess he's been doing it for a long time, and so he was fine. That's what I keep the thing that keeps coming to my mind is he was fine.
Yeah.
He was okay, but didn't overwhelm me or anything. I didn't. There weren't enough twists and turns in his jokes, in his punchlines. There were sort of like. It was almost a little bit too not that I could predict his punchline, but like it didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think for that reason, I wasn't so I was I
The
was whelmed.
I did like the joke with the where they were somewhere and somebody asked for a picture with them or something like that, and then
Mhm.
they kind of chuckled at that, and then they were like, "Oh no, that's not him."
Yeah.
And like if you look at this dude, it's like, well, who else did you think this? Who else did you think he was? Oh, we thought you were Ramesh, and he was like, I am. I had to show him my ID. Like I thought that was pretty funny. Um, the laughing about watching a show. What was it? He was comparing something to. Oh, he was talking about his sex life, and if you're with your parents, I apologize. This is going to be as awkward as watching a sex scene when you're watching a movie with your parents and going, "Oh my gosh!" and then turn. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that. Yeah, but I'm with you. It wasn't the beginning. Yeah,
Not that
the
great.
middle to the middle end was pretty good, but nothing special.
So you didn't see any of that second episode or whatever, right? Where he was, because this was like a 2 part, like
Oh
it
shoot.
was a
That's
2 episode
right.
sort
There
of
was
thing.
2 episodes. Oh no, yeah, but the second one was not.
He
The first
was
one was the comedy special, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah.
he was
No,
the
I didn't
second
watch
one,
any of the second one.
he was sitting around with his family and just talking, and they were just joking around, and his mom kept asking like, so what do I get to do in this thing? And he's like making fun of her for expecting to be involved in
Yeah.
his special, and his kids, his one of like his oldest son says something kind of funny. um so anyway, it's just his whole family just kind of sitting around and just hanging out. um that was probably maybe even a little funnier than the special,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Well, that's too bad. I wish I would have seen that then.
Yeah. So anyway, I went ahead and gave this a 2.7,
Okay.
which is just barely above average, about average.
I had it at a 3.0, but I scratched it out and wrote down 3.2. I gave him
Oh.
a couple extra points.
Okay.
I didn't think it was bad. Plus, I feel bad that I didn't fully I didn't fully partake in the episode like I should have.
Last few minutes, no big deal.
Anyway, yep.
Uh,
So there you go.
I'll tell you this. I
Tell me.
don't remember what his closer was. That's how, if it was great, I feel like
it
maybe I
wasn't
would
good enough
remember.
to make you remember. Okay, I don't feel so bad then.
All righty. So we've got to pick a couple of things for next week.
Yep.
And then we'll wrap it up. So I've got comedy for next week. You've got Mount Rushmore. I went lazy on the Mount Rushmore this week. Just picked a team.
I like it because I feel like whenever you do something like that, it turns into a 3 or 4 week deal for us.
Yeah.
So because I'm going to use it now.
Good.
I'm about to use it.
Good. Those are fun. I mean, they're fun. This is a sports podcast.
We did this one time with the Sacramento Kings. Remember that?
Yes,
That
I
was
do.
a good one.
I do.
It was a good one.
Um,
Speaking of that, I just saw this. I was watching YouTube something, and I was scrolling on it, and there was a 13-minute Jason William highlight film,
I'm sure I've seen it.
and I watched 13 full minutes of Jason William highlights.
Yes.
By the way, white chocolate. That dude was sick, man.
A lot of fun to watch. His birthday was just a couple weeks ago. So like
So maybe
anytime
that's
somebody
why I
like
was
that,
out there.
the
Pulls it
highlights
into-
resurface.
That I remember something on Jason Williams seeing that he would go to his high school gym down the street from his house and put a square on the wall. Did you see this too? And just throw around the back passes at that and have to hit the square. Like that's what he would do. He just try to make the craziest passes he could around the back, between the legs, over anything, but it had to always hit the square. Wherever he was out on the court, dribble around and always. I thought that was pretty slick. Man, no wonder, because he was pinpoint accuracy on balls that I don't know how he got the ball to leave his hand and go that angle to hit somebody.
Yep. He was really fun, and him with Chris Webber's
Webber,
passing
yeah.
ability, Vlade Divac.
That was another one underneath it. It said Jason Williams to Chris Webber, and it was another like 12, 13 minute. That's all it was just Jason Williams and Chris Webber.
Yeah. Oh God, I love those teams. Speaking of birthdays in the NBA, happy birthday today to Larry Legend.
Hey, happy birthday, Larry Legend. How about that? Speaking of Larry Legend, Celtics Lakers, always a huge rivalry. How about them Lakers, baby?
Hot.
8 out of 10, I want to say, something like that. When AD's playing, these people, when AD
Suddenly he showed up.
when AD's playing, this team is good.
Yeah.
And he's playing very well right now.
He is. Yeah. So yeah, good for the Lakers.
Parker
See-
actually wore his purple Lakers sweatshirt to school the other day. He won't wear any Lakers stuff to school. We've had this conversation on here before because nobody likes the Lakers because nobody likes LeBron. But yet all his buddies have like Kobe jerseys and Kobe sweatshirts. And I was like, dude, I just saw a dude with a Kobe sweatshirt on the other day. Yeah, but he doesn't like the Lakers. I said, he's got a Lakers sweatshirt on. Like, what do you mean? He's got a Lakers sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
It's okay. And then he actually grabbed it out of there when they won a couple games. And he goes, you know what? If other people don't like the Lakers, I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. Good for
Nice.
you, brother.
Good man.
It's about time.
Excellent. That's good. Okay, so comedy next week.
Okay. Comedy next week.
There's a gentleman who is in this New York class with the Normans and the Lists and the Marills
Yeah,
and those
yep.
guys. This guy's really funny, I think. And he's not as much of a household name, I don't think, as those other guys for some reason.
Okay.
But he's every bit as funny to me. His name's Phil Hanley.
Okay.
Phil Hanley, and he just came out recently with a special on YouTube, and it's called Ooh La La. Thanks a lot, Phil, for making me say that.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
All right. So Phil Hanley, Ooh La La on YouTube. Check it out. We'll rate it next week.
Not to be confused with Phil Handy, Lakers assistant coach.
What a terrible What a terrible last name to have to grow up with.
Handy? Oh, no, that's a good thing. That means you can fix things around the house.
Very handy.
Yeah. You fix cars and stuff like that.
And that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, good.
So I'm gonna say this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say I'm going a little different. I just decided I switched it up I said I was gonna do something with a team. I'm switching it up. I'm going to go with the Mount Rushmore of Michael Jordan
Oh, you like it?
commercials.
Okay. Yes.
I just
That's
look. I'm looking over here at this
brilliant.
Fruit of the Loom over here, and I'm like, you know what? Little Haynes his way. You know, he did the Haynes forever. What can I do there? I was thinking about favorite underwear brands, and then we're just going Michael Jordan commercials.
Beautiful. There are so many great Michael
There's
Jordan.
a lot of really
commercials.
good ones.
Oh, that's a great. Oh man, that's great
Yeah.
thinking. Okay. All right. We've got next week settled then.
Okay.
We've got it settled. We'll do comedy. We'll do Mount Rushmore. We'll do the NFL picks. We'll have some Reese's. I've got 5 more weeks of Reese's stuff sitting in my fridge.
I've got one, and I wonder if you bought it or not. It's part of the. It's probably going to be the grossest thing we ever do.
Is this the one you bought? You bought it like
Oh,
last
did I already
week
tell
or
you about
something?
that? Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
one of those?
No.
Okay,
I'm
good.
not
Okay, good. That's right. We already talked about this.
Yeah. So okay.
Actually, you know what I did see the other day was one of the Reese's where the bottom half was green from Halloween time. I almost bought one of those, but I ended up not. We won't see those till next Halloween.
Is it now green from mold because of it's
no.
been
I think it's a little Frankenstein action.
Frankenstein, Reese's
Frankenweenie.
Frankenstein. Okay. That's it. I mean,
All right.
we'll have plenty of stuff next week. We might have some Xavier basketball stuff.
Absolutely. We got the crosstown shootout this weekend. So hopefully I get to boast about that. Maybe we have a guest on, talk about it, and go from there.
Right on.
Till next week. Don't forget to turn your headlights on.